Very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It's the Kinner Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio 1410 Wing AM. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, Doug?
Off and rolling here on a Tuesday. A lot to get into here today. Still wild, no update on the Bill O'Brien topic that we touched on a lot yesterday. Listening to various shows throughout the state today, or listening to Sports Talk in Cleveland, Columbus, others. Not a whole lot of update as far as what's going on with that Bill O'Brien report, and it makes sense that a lot of the stuff coming out about that potential topic was coming out of the Boston Herald,
right?
Obviously closer to Boston College, so very interesting to see what happens there.
Hurry up and wait.
And I still think it's kind of overrated topic. I don't think it's a huge deal if he leaves, as we touched on yesterday, but maybe it can be, as you talked about, potentially the coaches he takes with him if he does. I mean, who's clamoring to get out of Columbus to go to Boston College? No.
The thing about it is, in the Buckeyes' favor, he's just got there. So, like, what type of relationships does he have with the current coaches there that make them want to leave? Now, he may have relationships with coaches at Alabama and at Maryland, because a lot of the coaches at Maryland came from Alabama when they went there with Loxley. So it may be some low level or lower level guys on those staffs looking to be OCs, looking to be, other than just, analysts at those schools. So if I'm Alabama or Maryland, I'm more worried about losing staff members than Ohio State is.
So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, nothing's really come out of that nonetheless. All right. What up, Ro? Ro says, what up to his favorite talk show.
What's
appreciate
going
that,
on?
Ro. I paid him to say that. So good
How
stuff.
much?
Appreciate it. What up, Dennis? Dennis says, did you get to drive the truck today, Kinner? Kev, when you look out the window, what car did I bring into work today?
The Equinox.
The Equinox. It's time to make the Equinox cool again. The Equinox, Dennis.
You find any lady items in there again today?
No, I cleaned it out. I, put some McDonald's wrappers and stuff, just trying to man it up a bit.
I thought you were going to say you put condoms in there or something like that. To balance it out. A little balance.
Man. What up, Shaw? Shaw says, the internet in here is a little slow. So I'm not really sure what's going on. I know Shaw's message into the show. So there he goes. Good afternoon, fellas. It's a great day to be a national champion. Go Blue. Wow.
Oh man. I can't wait till September.
Dennis says, congrats on the new Equinox. Thank you. It's new. It's new to me. It does. I mean, I could, it's an auto start, so that's cool. That's
There you
new for
go.
me. Has a little backup camera. I had an old car for quite some time. In fact, the car I had before, way back in the day, Schlemmer and I were leaving the station and got in a little car accident outside the building here. Little axle was bent. Never got it fixed because, we're working radio. And it was a little death trap. When it rained outside, couldn't take it on the highway. It was a little dangerous. I'm like, I live a couple miles from work. I just needed to get from point A to point B. So it didn't have all the bells and whistles, but it would start when you turned it on. And that's all I needed from the vehicle. And now I have a car payment, or a truck, as Nora calls it. So
got that truck payment. Big spender.
But off and rolling here on a Tuesday. Appreciate everyone out there tuning in and hanging out with us. Shaw says, just got rid of my Equinox. Couldn't be happier that it's gone. Not helping, Shaw. Not helping.
Oh my gosh. The start of the last 2 episodes have been magical.
Well, I got a text from my father-in-law today. Love my father-in-law. Love my father and mother-in-law. Love all my parents, of course. But he said, hey, just so you know, I really like your new truck. And I said, I really like your daughter's new truck, too. He just sent back a smiling emoji because I think he understands,
Yeah.
I blame him. They're the ones that spoiled her. Now I got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You put a ring on it. That's what happens.
Got to stay married, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, if I'm complaining about a truck payment, the cost of divorce is way more expensive than that. So, anyways.
What's they say? Cheaper to keep her.
Yeah, I'm keeping her. That's what it is. All right, let's kick off the show with our top of the hour headlines, of course. Again, it's the Kinner Kev Show. Top of the hour headlines off and rolling here. How about this one? According to Matt Miller, he is one of ESPN's newest NFL draft analysts. I don't know how long he's going to stick around with takes like this, but hear this out. I like Matt Miller, actually. We're going to have him on here shortly. But according to Matt Miller, who's NFL draft scout on Twitter, the internet just knocked us off again. Whatever, radio show. Focus on the radio side. Multiple NFL scouts have LSU wide receiver Malik Neighbors ranked higher on their draft boards than Marvin Harrison Jr.
Not surprised. I mean, obviously, us being Ohio State fans, living in Ohio, we love Marv and all the things that Marv is able to do out there on the football field. But he's not a perfect wide receiver. He had some drops last season. He doesn't block all that well. I mean, you got to think about this. Jaden Daniels, who won the Heisman Trophy, he had to be throwing the passes to somebody, right? And that somebody was Malik Neighbors. So I have no big issue with that, and guess what? It's very early in the process. Marv will go to the combine and have a good pro day, and he'll probably jump back up to being the number 1 wide receiver.
So, and again, by the way, I was joking about, obviously Matt Miller. He's just reporting what he hears. So I'm laughing at the comments like this one says, these scouts need to take a drug test immediately. Who is Matt Miller? He's just reporting what he hears, folks. Relax. We're the ones that give our opinions on stuff. He's given us the content for us to give our opinions on as far as that's concerned. But yes, that definitely caught me off guard. Marvin Harrison Jr. is being equated to the best wide receiver prospect in decades, right? And now all of a sudden, well, he's not even, some draft boards don't even have him as the number 1 wide receiver. Of course, that's going to catch people off guard as far as that's concerned, nonetheless. But yes. And again, that's because this is just like with quarterbacks, Kev. When you are told, like Caleb Williams has just been, we've been told for years now, he's the best quarterback prospect when he comes out. Well, some analysts are going to get bored with that narrative, and they're going to start talking up some other dudes. That's what always happens. Eventually, Trevor Lawrence was kind of talked down upon as the draft got closer after being told that, man, after his true freshman year, if he would have come out, he would have been the number 1 overall pick. Some of these narratives get a little tired, and they got to switch it up a bit. That's what always happens. No doubt.
For the people that actually care about my opinion about the NFL draft, I have Marv 1, Rome Aduzier 2, Keon Coleman 3, Malik Neighbors 4, and A.D. Mitchell from Texas at number 5. Those are my top 5 wide receivers in this draft class.
I do got to give a shout out to a friend of mine. Every time I see that someone likes the little clip here, Jackson Bebout. I mean, he's like the show every single day. He's a good friend. He was a roommate of mine in college.
Hey,
went to high school together. Shout out to my friend Jackson Bebout, liking the show page every single day. I appreciate that. Shout out to Jackson tuning into the show. I appreciate that. Trey Green liking the show. What up, Trey?
Jackson in the comments. How was Kinner as a roommate? We all want to know. Tell us how Kinner was as a roommate, because I can tell you how he is sharing a studio with him every single day.
It's a messy studio, but it's the cleanest studio in the building.
No. The one that's not fixed is cleaner.
Well, which one? Take your pick. All right. Next up, how about this one? So a lot has been made about the hire of Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator over in Washington. Cliff Kingsbury was the favorite to be the OC over, with the Raiders, right? Well, Magic Johnson played a huge role in getting him to go over to Washington. The reason I bring this up, it's not for the Stephen A. Smith clips that are going around. It has nothing to do with that. It's just, it's weird hearing Magic Johnson calling up Cliff Kingsbury and being the main influence to get to talk him out of the Raiders to come to Washington to be the OC. I don't know what the pitch was from old Magic Johnson, but quite an assist from old Magic Johnson in helping facilitate, the Commanders' new offensive coordinator and Cliff Kingsbury. Some people believe that this is a kind of a tell that the Commanders are going to be aggressive in going after Caleb Williams, as we talked about on yesterday's show. But your thoughts? We talked about it yesterday. Cliff Kingsbury was kind of a shocker going to the Commanders over the Raiders, but it's even more of a surprise when you hear that, well, the reason that it happened is because, well, it was a push from Magic Johnson, who's a partial owner by the way.
Not a surprise at all. I mean, Magic Johnson is a minority owner in this situation where, he's not going to be the main guy writing the checks. He's not going to be the main guy involved in everything like that. But Magic Johnson's name, his cachet still has a lot of power with a lot of folks. And, I've actually met Magic Johnson before. I met him at Central State. As you can imagine, Magic Johnson, winning smile. And Magic Johnson can probably talk a lot of people and doing a lot of things. I'm not surprised that they had Magic Johnson make that phone call. And after talking to Magic Johnson, I'm not surprised that he decided to change his mind.
Next up, another offensive coordinator that's, building a reputation around the National Football League. How about Ben Johnson? Now, Ben Johnson was supposed to be the number one head coaching target as far as coordinators are concerned. At least that was the perception last year. It was a big deal when he announced that he was going to come back with the Lions for unfinished business, of course. They definitely took major steps in the progression of the rebuild, if you will, not even a rebuild, but just kind of furthering their advancement into the playoffs, making the playoffs and advancing in the playoffs the way that they did. But Lions OC Ben Johnson's reputation around the NFL is very bad right now after he screwed the Commanders over by only telling him that he was not accepting their head coach job. This is not really typed out very well from the NFL report on Twitter, but nonetheless, the Commanders were already en route. He waited till they were en route. He canceled their meeting. He had let them know that he was not interested in being the head coach of the Commanders when they were already en route. They found out mid-flight. So because of this, there's a lot of GMs and front office personnel talking, and right now Ben Johnson is not a popular figure amongst the NFL GMs right now.
Let them win the Super Bowl next year and then putting up 35 points a game, they'll change their tune real quick. I mean, what was he supposed to do? Like, he told him as soon as he changed his mind, wait for them to land in Detroit and then be like, never mind, guys. Yeah, tell them as soon as you can. It happens, man. I'm sure people out there listening have had situations like that where they had every intention on going to job interviews or accepting another job, but then your job counter offers, and then you have to go back to tell the job that you were going to go to, like, sorry, I'm going to go ahead and stick around and stay at my job. So it happens.
Yeah, and they should have a crystal ball for this kind of stuff, to be honest with you. I mean,
we are on one today.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Someone from Centerville's calling me. I'm not really sure who it is, but anyways, I don't think I owe anyone money in Centerville, so it shouldn't be them. I have no clue. All right, how about this? The Philadelphia Eagles will be hosting a game in Brazil next season. Now, it's not a big deal. The NFL has continued to expand their footprint globally over the years. But what makes this one so interesting is that it's going to be a Week 1 game.
Wow.
The Philadelphia Eagles will be playing in Brazil in Week 1, but on a Friday night. They don't know the opponents yet, obviously, but some reports out of Cleveland are that it could potentially be the Cleveland Browns and the Philadelphia Eagles going head-to-head on that Friday night. Now, again, all rumors, nothing's been official, but the Browns are rumored to potentially be that team taking on the Eagles on a Friday night, Week 1 of the NFL season, in a game from Brazil. First game ever to be played in Brazil.
Pure domination from the NFL. In this country, NFL is king. Look, we know globally soccer is a bigger sport, but we're in the United States, and this is slowly but surely becoming the NFL 365. You're going to have Thursday night games to kick off the season. You're going to have a Friday night game. Then you have a litany of games on that Sunday. Then you have 2 Monday night games. We're going to get to a world very, very soon where there's football, NFL football, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and also 2 games on Tuesday. 2 games on Monday. Just think about all this stuff happened because of COVID. Like, that's when they started figuring out, hey, man, we can play more than, 1 Monday night game. Back in the day, remember Mike and Mike, they used to do the early Monday night game and then the later Monday night game on the West Coast. Like, that's going to be a thing. There's going to be multiple Monday night games. They had multiple Monday night games this year because of the writer's strike, because ESPN, ABC needed content to fill. This is an excuse for the NFL to say, hey, we can make this happen. I mean, look what they did with the playoff game. Like, people loved it. They were like, wait, we can get 2 games on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and then 2 more on Monday, which is a holiday. So we're off on Dr. King Day, and we're going to get more NFL. This is the roadmap. They're telling us what's going to happen.
Going back real quick to the comment about Ben Johnson. Brad makes a good point. What up, Brad Mays? He says McDaniels turned his plane around mid-flight to Indy to go back to the Patriots. Sure, people weren't happy about it. They said no one would hire McDaniels. It's a bad look. It didn't take long. You go to your point. He won a couple Super Bowls with the Patriots after going back, and he was a head coach. Now, he failed, but that had nothing to do with the point is that no one turned him down because of that. He was actually a big head coach commodity, before he failed again with the Raiders, but nonetheless, great point there. So David Shaw says, so the Philly fans lose a home game, and it's the first week of the year as well. Not a fan as far as that's concerned. I think having the 17th week in the season evens out. I'm not sure how the league deciphers this year you're going to get an additional road game. You're going to have one more road game than a home game. Like, think about it. You play an odd amount of games. So every year you're either playing more home games than away games or more away games than home games. So I guess if you're having a neutral field game like this overseas, I guess it just kind of evens out. You have an even amount of. So I know what Shaw's saying, but I would be more ticked not having one of these types of games, especially if I'm a team that has to play an additional road game versus a home game, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, I've never really heard anyone bring that part up with the odd amount of games.
Right. How
do you decipher, okay, last year you played more home games than away games, so this year you're going to have an additional road game and then a home game. I don't know. So
they put it all in the computer and they spit it out.
Right.
I'm sure they put in like parameters or whatever. Like, all right, well, we want these 2 teams to match up, and it's a whole computer-generated system how these schedules get made. I don't have a big problem with it.
It's a Kinner and Kev Show here on 1410 ESPN Radio. All right, think about this during the break. I don't know what to make of this. I think they did something similar last year with Travis Kelce, but the Cleveland Cavaliers are the number 2 seed in the East, but they are the hottest team in the National Basketball Association. But they're doing an interesting promotion for tonight's game. They're doing a bobblehead giveaway. Travis Kelce and his brother, Jason Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dual bobblehead. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's weird. And based on your eye roll, you think my take is weird. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. I think it's a weird promotion. They're from Cleveland. So what? It's the NFL. It has nothing to do. They don't even play. They're from Cleveland. They're not even playing for the teams in your own city.
I thought we were talking about it after the break.
This is a stretch. Well, your eye roll got me going. I'm sorry. My fault. You're right. We'll discuss it after the break. You have no idea what I feel on this topic. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The forecast mostly clear, low 27 tonight, sunshine and 54 tomorrow. Thursday, partly sunny and 59. Rich Rep for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Contractors, plumbers, roofers. I'm attorney Blake Maislin. Are insurance companies not covering your work or denying your 20% overhead and profit? Maybe an adjuster's trying to replace a few shingles instead of a whole roof, or trying to get your customer to dump you and hire a hack to do the job on the cheap. Don't quit. Don't get frustrated. Just have your customer call me immediately to complete the team. It's my job to make sure your customer's job gets done right, that you get paid in full, and my fees get paid as well. Call me now, Blake Maislin, 444-4444.
Hey, let me tell you about the advantages of driving with my friends at Cordell Transportation. First of all, for the new year, they're offering brand new equipment to drive. They purchased new equipment, and not a lot of people could say that, but they've got it, and they're ready to roll with you. Cordell Transportation is offering an incredible $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months. If you're an experienced Class A CDL driver looking for excellent benefits, home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freights, then apply today online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Looking for sweet heat that's hard to beat? Head to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and try the Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich, here for a limited time. This all-new sandwich features our famous hand-breaded, pressure-cooked chicken breast covered in Mike's Hot Honey on a brioche bun. It's the chicken sandwich made sweeter and spicier. Discover the craveable flavor that can only happen when Mike's Hot Honey meets Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Pick up an irresistible Hot Honey Chicken Sandwich today. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Rizza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, everyone gather around. I have some exciting.
Running her shoe factory, Kendra talks the talk and walks the walk.
We're switching to green energy.
She needs a biotech consultant to erase her carbon footprint.
All operations will net zero emissions.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard.
Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hear that? The relaxing sound of ambient music in a yoga class. And if you were here, you'd listen to 15 people taking a deep breath in sync. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. So if you ride, get a quote today and see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. And find inner peace with a different pose called Palms on Handlebars. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Strong enough for a Mastiff, gentle enough for a Chihuahua. Invisible Fence brand is more than a fence with hands-on training and exclusive solutions to give your pet more room to run. Learn more at invisiblefence.com.
All right, and we are back. It's the Kinner Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Cavs bobblehead giveaway tonight. Cleveland's very own. They do a series on Cleveland's very own, and I get that's the theme. But Cleveland's very own, honoring the Cleveland natives' passion for basketball and their hometown roots. Join us for Cavs Celtics. And it's not for tonight's game. My apologies. It's a pre-promotion for March 5th. Oh, well, whatever. Point is, I was so thrown off by this silly promotion that I didn't pay attention to the details. But no, Kev. So on March 5th, they're doing a Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce dual bobblehead giveaway on March 5th for the 7 p.m. tip-off for Cavs Celtics. First of all, cool concept. I get it. They're from Cleveland. But it's just weird because a lot of times teams, they want to just celebrate their city. And I get that they're from their city, but at the same time, that's the city that the Browns play. And you're going to highlight, I get it. It's the Browns, but our players stink. So we're going to highlight actual players who win and play in Super Bowls like Travis and Jason Kelce and stuff. I think this is weird. And I thought about it. I started like, imagine going to a Reds game or a Bengals game. And the promotion is, hey, we're going to put Russell Wilson and Roger Staubach as a dual bobblehead giveaway because they're from the city and they're champions from the city. I don't know. In the words of Duke Tobin, get your own. Get your own.
I love this. Now, obviously, that's my hometown, and that's the team that I root for. And, the Kelce brothers did go to my high school, Cleveland Heights High School.
Really?
Yeah, home of the Tigers. Home of the Tigers. Shouts out to the Tigers. So that's my hometown, and I've only lived two places. I've lived in Cleveland, Ohio, and I lived in Dayton, Ohio. I've traveled a lot. I'm not sure I've ever been to a city that reps its own as much as Cleveland. When I go out of town and I see people with a Cavs or Browns and everything like that, it's a certain swagger that we have. It's a certain thing. Every city has this. When you see somebody from your city, you kind of recognize them when maybe it's something that they're wearing, maybe it's the way they talk, you recognize them. And that's the thing up there in Cleveland. I have absolutely no problem with this. And the main reason I have no problem with this is because they have on Cavs jersey. If they would have had on the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs jersey on their bobblehead, I would be with you. But they have on the Cavs gear. I have no problem with this at all.
I feel like they're cheating on the Browns.
Well, they've had Myles Garrett nights up there.
Because Myles Garrett plays with the Browns. He plays in Cleveland. Now I get it. Cleveland's been so bad at sports for so long that they haven't had their own type of guys that actually promote and all this stuff. Maybe that's why, with the Bengals winning games and all this stuff, maybe now they don't feel like, hey, we don't need to promote. I mean, again, there's not a whole lot of great people that have come from Cincinnati. I mean, you have Jerry Springer and Jerry. But I was amazed to find out that, Roger Staubach, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was born in Cincinnati, and Russell Wilson as well. So there you go.
Yeah, Russell Wilson was born in Cincinnati, but he reps North Carolina. So
it's kind of like the Steph Curry.
Yeah, like they're Cleveland. Not the Cavs aren't going to do a Steph Curry night.
Why not?
He was born in Northeast Ohio, but he's from North Carolina. I mean, I remember they did Drew Carey night with the bobbleheads up there with the Cavs as well. So it's not just like sports figures; it's famous people.
The Drew Carey one I'm fine with.
Yeah, yeah. I think they also did an Arsenio Hall one as well. So maybe they can get a Steve Harvey on there as well. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of famous people from Cleveland. They're going to do a Kev Nash one.
The entertainers I'm fine with, but it's just you got an NFL team there. and you're highlighting 2 NFL dudes. I don't know. I just think it is what it is. It is. I ain't gonna win this argument, and that's fine. And that's fine. But I just felt a certain way. Here's the other deal too. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're the hottest team in the NBA right now, 32-16, 5 games back of the Celtics in the East, which is, that build towards that March 5th game. Of course, a lot of basketball between now and then, but they've won 6 straight. They're 9-1 in their last 10. I believe they're 14-2 in their last 16. And this is the hottest stretch of basketball in Cavs history. And this goes back to the 2 stints with LeBron, even those seasons where they were going to the finals pretty much every single year with LeBron. This even going back to the 90s, with Elo and everybody else. The wild thing is this is the hottest stretch of basketball in the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And now you haven't won anything yet. I completely get that, but that is kind of a unique thing about this Cavs team. And I know we don't talk a ton of basketball here. That's one reason we do Kev Nash's Association Catch Up, is to be able to catch up on some of the top NBA news and headlines out there. But as we sit here right now, the Cavs and the Bucks have the same record. The Cavs are ahead of New York. They're ahead of Philadelphia, ahead of the Pacers. They're not, flirting with the play-in games. They're flirting with the number 1 seed. Now, they trail that by 5 games, and everyone thought that it would be Milwaukee right there at the top, and they're right there at the top of the mix of things. Celtics really good, too, and all this stuff. I completely get that, but the Cavs just a fun story right now, playing hot basketball. They're the hottest team in the NBA, but are they a legitimate championship contender? Because other reports came out today, listening to Sports Talk over in Cleveland on the Fan in Cleveland today, that the Cavs have basically announced that they are going to they have no interest in making any moves at the deadline. They are content with where they're at right now. But my problem with that, the trade deadline is when? It's
Thursday.
Oh, it's coming. Why do I thought it was after the All-Star break. Oh, okay. Well, then that's why then my bad. Okay. This is why we need to talk more basketball. So the trade deadline, they're not looking to make any moves. My concern about that is are they who they are over the last 17 games? Is this who they truly are? Or is this just a hot stretch of basketball? I feel like the Cavs front office needs to be careful. You're falling for it. I think you need to be careful of only using the 17-game sample size to know who your team is as opposed to the big picture. I'm not saying that because they were bad before that.
Right.
They were not playing good basketball. There was talks of trading Donovan Mitchell because of how bad they were. And I feel like it wasn't that long ago you and I were having that discussion on the show. I don't think they're that bad. I also don't think they're as good as what they've been over the last 17 games. I think they're somewhere in the middle, which means you have deficiencies, which means you have something that you need to, improve upon. Smart or not for the Cavs to not make any moves at the deadline, and are they championship contenders in your opinion?
I would say they should keep their options open for trades. You can always make your team better. Now, what are those options? Who's out there? What do you necessarily need when you're as hot as they are right now, not only offensively, but they're playing good defense as well? It's like, all right, it's hard to find those things. Like, all right, man, we have to fix this, but hey, man, everything's working. Everything's fine. The reason I would say keep your options open for trades will be because of them not making any trades at the trade deadline last year, because we were in this similar situation last year where everything was fine. They weren't playing as good basketball as they are right now last year, but they didn't make any deals last year. So like, I wouldn't say, hey man, we're not making any deals. We're closed for business. Don't even call us. But let's be real. We all know who other teams are calling for. They're calling for Mitchell, because everybody's going to say, well, he's not going to stay. You might as well trade him. They're calling for, maybe Darius Garland, who just got back from injuries, playing very well in limited minutes. Maybe they're calling for Evan Mobley. He's playing well with limited minutes. Jarrett Allen, he's been playing well with the 1-2 punch with Donovan Mitchell. It's really been those guys carrying them. So those two guys are basically going to be off limits. As far as them being a contender to win it all, if I'm the Cavs, the only team that I'm looking at that, hey, man, I feel like they're better than us, hands down, are the Celtics, because Milwaukee is a train wreck. Milwaukee, maybe they'll get their stuff together, but as of now, you and I could go out there and get 10 points apiece on the Milwaukee Bucks, because they're playing absolutely no defense. Giannis ain't playing defense. Lopez ain't playing defense. We all know Dame don't play no defense. So we can go get 10 points apiece. So not scared of them. The Knicks. Yeah, we can talk about the Knicks. We can talk about them beating the Cavs in the playoffs last year. But the guy that kind of bullied them, Mitchell Robinson, he's out for the season. The other guy that bullied them, Randall, he's going to be out extended period of time. Really not afraid of that. Embiid, who knows if he's going to play or not. So we're starting to work our way all the way down to teams that are playing in the play-in. Pacers, they absolutely are terrible on defense. I mean, they can score a lot, but guess what? Those games are going to be 155, 165, something like that. I'm not scared of them. The only team in the East that I'm afraid of is the Boston Celtics. Now that flips us over to the West. Let's just say, for some argument's sakes, the Cavs make it all the way to the finals. The only two teams in the West that I'm afraid of are the Clippers and the Nuggets. Those other two teams like OKC and the Timberwolves, guess what? They're 1-2 in the West. We already know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. They're going to play a veteran team like the Clippers or like the Nuggets or maybe in the Suns, and they're out of there. That's what's going to happen. They're having their bounce-up year. They're having a very good season. They're playing good during the regular season. They're not going to make it to the finals. So it's really all about the Clippers and the Nuggets. And then we can always talk about, James Harden melting down in the playoffs or Kawhi Leonard having his knee explode again. So out of every team in the NBA, I'll give the Suns some credit because they're playing a lot better basketball right now. So I guess I would be afraid of them if I met them in the finals. But shoot, if you make it all the way to the finals, you've obviously beat other teams to get there. So the only team I'm scared of right now in the East is the Celtics.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Clippers a little bit ago, and I don't know if anyone was out. Kawhi and those guys, you never know anymore, but I know they just beat the Clippers.
Yeah.
Last week?
Yeah.
Sometime it was in Cleveland, but they're beating good teams throughout this stretch as well. Sacramento is a good team, and they just beat Sacramento.
The doors off of them.
They play. They played Detroit close, but you're going to get some of those. But obviously, they just played Milwaukee in back-to-back games, both in Milwaukee, which is wild, but they split those. And actually, they've beat Milwaukee 3 of the last 4 times they played them. And that was around the stretch where we were saying, you know what, we're going to find out. They had won 5 straight at this point, and they were going to play Milwaukee 3 or 4 times in the next 10 days or something. And we said, well, we'll know if they're for real. They won 3 of the 4 against them. But it was December 15th, Kev. The Cavs were 13-12. They were 10th in the East. They had just lost Darius Garland and Evan Mobley.
Crazy.
Now they're 32-16, or I think, did they play last night? They won last night.
So they beat the Kings last night.
So they're 33-16. Sooners is second place, and that's what has everyone talking about the fact, are they title contenders? Are they a legitimate title contender? 19-4, 20-4, 19-4, 24, whatever it is, since December 15th. They definitely have people talking. If this is the case, then you have to look at Donovan Mitchell and say, okay, he's a legit MVP candidate as well. I know that there's a lot of, with Joel Embiid now out of the conversation, you have Jokic who's going to be in the conversation, but yeah, I think that, can Mitchell continue this? He's done this a lot, but again, he's also been known to kind of disappear towards the most important time of the season, but it's a regular season award.
Yeah. The other guys out there for the MVP, Anthony Edwards, SGA, obviously Joker's out there. We're going to talk about Tatum. You do have to show the Celtics respect. They are the number 1 seed in the East. They're up 5 games on the Cavs for the number 1 spot. I don't see that the Cavs being able to catch them for the number 1 seed. But if the Cavs get the 2 seed and they're able to hang on to the 2 seed, I like our chances to make a deep run in the playoffs.
No doubt. Now, with that being said, I am curious. The interest level in the Cavs, because this is the best Cavs team in the last 2 decades. This is the best Cavs team since the 90s that does not have LeBron James on it. Last year was a good, fun year. It was a build because you got Donovan Mitchell. There was some excitement there. But I am curious people's actual feelings on this team. Do people care? Because I listened to Sports Talk in Cleveland today. They're like, yes, we're talking about it because it's Cleveland.
Right.
But they're getting no love. They're the hottest team in the NBA, and they're still talking about Milwaukee. They're still talking, Milwaukee. You could say, oh, it's Cleveland. That's why. Well, Milwaukee is not a breeding ground for, national sports talk shows. And yet they're talking more Milwaukee. They're talking more Boston and others. Why isn't the Cavs getting the national attention that you think that they deserve, especially having a Donovan Mitchell leading the way? I could see if it was Garland, who isn't like a household name, but Donovan Mitchell is. I am surprised the Cavs aren't getting more love around the league nationally. But also, I'm just trying to get a gauge for our listeners. Where are we at? What's the temperature in the room when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers? I feel like this area should be more excited about them. And I get it. A lot of people have the Pacers because Obi Toppin's over there, but that has nothing to do with this. I'm curious people's thoughts on the Cavs locally too.
They'll check into the NBA after Sunday. That's what people are going to do. They're going to find out how good this team has been playing. They're going to find out how good the other teams across the league are playing. Nobody in their right mind. If we ask a random caller right now, tell me who the number 1 team in the West is right now. They're not going to say OKC. They're probably going to say the Nuggets. Hey, who's the number 2 team? They're probably going to say somebody like the Clippers or even the Lakers. No, it's the T-Wolves. People are not checked in on the NBA at a high clip right now. Everybody's focus is the NFL. After the Super Bowl on Sunday, people are slowly trickle into the NBA. And another reason, like, they're not getting a whole bunch of coverage and being talked about a ton because there's no drama. They were getting talked about when they were in the middle of that losing streak. And the whole talk was fire JB or trade Donovan Mitchell. They need to trade him, get him out of there. It's over. Like, they gave it a run. It's not going to happen. He's going to leave. He wants to go to New York already. Now that they're winning and everything's cool, everything's kosher, there's no drama going on, mums. And I remember before, even when LeBron left to go to the Heat, like, they still had a beat reporter on the Cavs from ESPN was up there, kind of like seeing like the dust settle after the LeBron era and everything like that. And they had somebody,
McMenamin, right?
Yeah. And he was still around when they were drafted Kyrie and Tristan Thompson. Like, all right, this is the rebuild of the Cavs. There's nobody from the Athletic constantly reporting on the Cavs, like in the locker room, like a beat reporter. Like, you got people watching from afar, you know, watching on League Pass and everything like that. But you don't have people in the locker room seeing like the ins and outs of that team. You have local guys, but you don't have national guys. But you know what? It's all good. Keep it low. Keep it low. Keep flying under the radar. Keep winning games. Let them go up to Milwaukee and deal with Doc Rivers, Dame, and Giannis because those guys are super duper stars. You have a superstar. You don't have a super duper star. So let all those other teams deal with the drama. Keep winning games because that's the most important thing. And then win in the playoffs. That's where you're making name.
Yeah, and I think too right now, winning now is important. But no one, like for instance, Troy messages into the show. He goes, "It's college basketball season. I watch the NBA playoffs. I'm going to a Cavs-Pacers game on March 18th.
Ooh.
I do believe, you know, you look at the regions too, and with this city being so college basketball centric, that clearly is going to take over any basketball talk. But with the Cavs being not just, you know, it's one thing if the Cavs are just winning, but they're the hottest team in the NBA, and it's not, oh, they won 5 straight. I mean, they're 14-2. Even LeBron's best teams never had a stretch this hot when he was in Cleveland in both stints, even with going to the finals all those times. So just thought I would throw that out there and kind of get a gauge of where people are at with that. But the Cavs, definitely an interesting story, and it all goes back to if it bleeds, it leads. You're right. There was more national talk about the Cavs when it was time to get rid of Donovan Mitchell and fire their head coach. Yep. Now that they're winning, it's kind of boring. Now, you could blame national networks. You could blame local shows and sports talk shows like this and reporters for whether it's national or print or whether it's digital or print or whatever. But the bottom line is you guys are to blame. That's why I always say that. People get mad at ESPN for the Dallas Cowboys coverage. Tired of hearing about the Cowboys. Then stop tuning in when they talk about the Cowboys. Because I promise you, I know this for a fact. In fact, I've been to a couple of the radio stations here in this state that they have more equipment than we do. They can gauge the up to the hour, you know, people tuning in and all this stuff. Like, people gauge that stuff based on you. Oh, how come all you guys talk about is this? Because the metrics show that that's what you want to hear about. Mm-hmm. That's what keeps you locked in. How come you don't talk about this? Because you don't want to hear about it. It's not that we don't want to talk about it, so you don't want to hear about it. So I always laugh when people get super upset about that. Man, all they're talking about is the Dallas Cowboys, That's what you guys want to hear about. Maybe not you, but there's a million other people that do.
The masses, yeah.
So
I am mad that the Cavs and the Pacers don't play like on a Friday or a Saturday night at all this season.
Really? It's all week, during the week?
I tried to go to some of those games, and I tried to go to some Milwaukee Bucks and Pacers games as well. All Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Just go, dude. Showing up to work around here don't matter. So just go. Yeah. So just
I got
go.
your blessing?
Yeah.
Sweet, dude.
You don't need blessings. Kinner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio. So Troy brings up a good point. He goes, it's college basketball season. I watched the NBA playoffs. I'm going to Cavs-Pacers game on March 18th. But the key thing to Troy's comment there is it's college basketball season. Got a couple big college basketball games coming up here tonight. Dayton, the number 18 team in the country, they're on the road taking on an A10 opponent. We'll talk about that. Ohio State looking to snap their losing streak. Chris Holtman holding on to his job for dear life at this point. An interesting tweet from Purdue basketball today. Purdue and Wright State are the only 2 teams in the country that have this particular stat in common. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Did you know Carroll Works Tire isn't just for tires? We're also one of the leading service centers in the area. Our knowledgeable staff focuses on honesty, allowing you to make informed decisions. If you need routine maintenance or necessary repairs, contact us at Carroll Works Tire. Pothole season is here. Sometimes they are unavoidable, like the big hit on the last play. Yearly alignment checks will identify worn or loose steering and suspension components that may be robbing you of tire life and fuel economy. Contact us at Carroll Works Tire.
Folks, the Colonel here with Homestead Feed and Supply. You've asked for it, and the homesteaders, well, they went out and got it. Homestead Feed and Supply is now a full-blown Purina dealer. You heard that right. Homestead carries Purina feed products, including Fitter, Honor Show Feeds, Depth Charge. Heck, they've even got the golden ticket. Stop in to Homestead Feed and Supply, 1833 North Dayton Lakeview Road, New Carlisle, or visit the Homestead Feed and Supply Facebook page. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
After years of discomfort, it's like I'm alive again.
Sonia Hackett talks about how QC Kinetics changed her life.
QC Kinetics has given me my quality of life back.
Before QC Kinetics, Sonia suffered from horrible knee and back pain stemming from a car accident.
I was wearing knee braces just to try to maneuver around.
Sonia hated the idea of pain meds, and surgery seemed too risky. So she turned to the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics, the leaders in advanced regenerative medicine.
That consultation just changed my life. I can do the treadmill, everything. I don't have anything holding me back. The quality of life is pain-free. QC Kinetics has made us very happy.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today.
I'm going to get emotional again. They are like family members to me. They care.
Call QC Kinetics now.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
I'm Terry Krupp of Laird's Tax and Accounting, serving this area's tax and accounting needs for over 80 years. One of the most rewarding aspects of our jobs as tax preparers is that we have families that have used our services for generations. Laird's Tax and Accounting is a pioneer in our industry, being the first to offer new services. We stand behind your return if the IRS has questions. We know the tax code and can make the difficult task of making your tax filing easier. Relax. Contact us at 937-325-6571. Information at lairdstax.com.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Save $104 on select sets of 4 Nokian tires now through February 17th. Only at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Details at AAA.com/mycar.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. You can message into the show, 518-1410. I did a bad job of throwing that out there to open up the show today. But either way, we're off and rolling. Hope everyone's had a great Tuesday. College basketball action tonight. Top 25 matchups across the board, including your Dayton Flyers. Dayton in action, number 18 in the country, 18-3 overall, 8-1 in A10 play. Their only loss in A10 play against Richmond a few weeks ago. Taking on his 15-7 St. Joe's team, Kev. They're 5-4 in A10 play. Dayton, number 18 in the country, a 2.5-point favorite at St. Joe's.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is one of those situations where we saw like last week or 2 weeks ago, they go to a sleeping environment and they kind of like sleepwalk their way to a victory. I'm expecting that to be the same tonight.
Yeah, again, all I always keep asking of Dayton is if you're going to be top 25, look top 25. And I just don't think they've looked top 25 enough, but it doesn't matter what I think. It just doesn't. I get paid to give my opinion, and my opinion is, and I would say the same thing. Let's say Wright State ever cracked the top 25. You know, and by the way, back in the day, I used to say the same thing about Butler when they were in the Horizon League, when Butler was cracking the top 25, but they would have 3 Horizon League losses, and I would always laugh at that because I'm like, how do you have 3 losses in the Horizon League, but you're a top 25 team? That doesn't make any sense. So I'm not a hypocrite here. I'm just keeping it real a little bit. Like, that's the thing. Like, I just don't think it's too much to ask a top 25 team to make unranked, non-ranked teams look like they don't belong out on the floor with them. But that's the thing, too. I sometimes feel like the number in front of their name gets in the way of just accepting the fact that it's still a really good basketball team. Whether they have a number in front of their name or not, come March, they're still good enough to make a deep run into the tournament, as we talked about this week. But it also reminds me of, I remember that 2020 season when it ended. I know you said yesterday, stop comparing teams to the past. But what it does, though, is change how you perceive what a good season is and what it isn't. So I remember saying that the 2020 season was actually bad for Dayton basketball because that was such a rare, like this Anthony Grant team, this is about what they could be consistently. Not elite, not up there with the upper echelon of college basketball, but they should regularly be a top 25 team. They should regularly be dominating the A10. This is what Dayton basketball should be. This is what I've been saying that they should be for years. And for years, they haven't dominated the A10. For years, they haven't won. We're talking decades. They haven't won the A10 tournament.
Right.
For years, they haven't made the NCAA tournament. This, I think, is more of what an AG team at Dayton looks like. You have that one perennial powerhouse player. Although Duran's kind of making it difficult to continue to find players to play at that level. But I mean, still, that kid's freaking special, man. But this is what, with all the money that's been pumped into that arena, with all the resources that they have as a private institution and all this stuff, with all the NIL and everything that they have, the fan support, all of that. This is what they should be every year. There should never be down years. There should never be, maybe slightly less talented years than others if you have a younger roster, but you should always be dominating the A10 at the end of the day, because look at the recruiting. There's not another team in the A10 doing what AG is doing, bringing in these 4 stars, bringing in the level of talent that they are. So this is what Dayton should be every year moving forward. But I said that the 2020 year was going to be kind of bad big picture for them, because now what's considered a good season after that won't feel like it's as good of a season because, we're not that 2020 good. That 2020 season was It's the equivalent to the Elite Eight run in the NCAA tournament years ago. It was like you never hear Cinderella runs when it comes to regular seasons. You hear Cinderella runs in the postseason, right?
Right.
That was the equivalent to a Cinderella postseason run where you're watching something that never happens. Dayton being number 2 or 3 in the country, getting a number 2 or a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. That to me is a Cinderella regular season, once in a lifetime, once in a generation type of thing. That's not normal. Now, if that was Dayton all the time, okay, it's one thing, but that's not, and it's not who they are. It's not who they're going to be in the A-10 at least. So for me, that's what I meant by that back in the day, saying, hey, it's kind of a bad thing because now every time they have a good season, it's going to be as hard to enjoy it as much because you're always going to have that thing in the back of your head. Yeah, but, in 2020, they did. This isn't 2020. That's what has to constantly be reminded to people, because if this season would have happened in 2020, people would have been, I think the city would be even more wild about this team if this was the season in 20. You know what I mean? Like, because that would be the first time that they've experienced a really, really good team like to this level. So either way, they got their hands full with St. Joe's tonight. We'll see what they do. They're 2.5-point favorite. I think they come out victorious. They should. Ohio State. Oh, do you have a comment on that too? Before
I
Ohio State?
just want to give Deron Holmes a little bit more love. I mean, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks a game. I mean, probably 9 times out of 10 is going to win A-10 Player of the Year, and rightfully so. But I mean, there's other guys on the team, like you always talk about. Santos is good, knocking down 3-pointers. So, like, this is a very balanced team with the 1, 2, 3 guys up at the top. Like that's they're top heavy, but the other guys are still playing a good role on this team. And like that was kind of like the down part of last year's team is like, hey man, we got 2 guys in the paint, but we ain't got nothing on the outside. But now we got stuff on the outside, and he's able to dominate on the inside because like you can't double all the time. You have to let him work one-on-one. The guys in the paint have to hold their own sometimes, and then when they're one-on-one, he's going around them and laying it up or dunking it, or they're fouling him, and he's a good free throw shooter.
Yeah, I mean, and because last year they were such a poor 3-point shooting team. So
space, baby.
Last year you had 2 NBA bigs. You had Deron Holmes and Tumani Kamara, and I still to this day will always look back at that and say you have nothing to show for that. Holy smokes! But the reason is because they had 0 3-point shooting. So because of that, teams just had to pack it in. So Deron could never just back a guy down to the basket because he would have a sea of people behind him. And same thing with Tumani. But this year, the reason that Deron's able to just to feast in the inside is because you can't leave Brea open.
Right.
You have to go out there. You almost have to chest him up. You have to play tight on him. You almost want to give up a layup versus that's how tight you have to play up on him to where you risk him blowing past you. And then guess what? When that does happen, the reason that you also see Deron eating at the rim, you have to close out so tight on these shooters that you either take away their 3 and then they dribble past you. And then when the big comes up to help, now that's when the guards have the awareness to either lob it up for Deron in the paint or to just dump it off down low for an easy dunk or layup. So that's why this team is better equipped around him than what they were a season ago, no doubt about it. Ohio State tonight, real quick, Shaw chimes in on the Dayton thing. This is what Dayton fans make it sound like what they are all the time. Oh, making it sound like Dayton is this all the time. They're not. They're not this all the time, but they should be. But maybe now they got a little momentum going. Now maybe they can keep it going. Obviously, the 2020 year was unfortunate because Dayton season didn't just come to a screeching halt. All of college basketball did, and it changed the landscape of recruiting and the portal, and then NIL became a thing. There was a lot of adapting. Now we have a pretty good feel for the landscape, at least of college basketball. Still chaotic with the portal and everything, but the bottom line is what you do next year building on this, and this season's nowhere close to being done, obviously, but that's going to be the key as far as that's concerned. But Ohio State, Chris Holtmann, the Buckeyes have lost 4 straight. Chris Holtmann, I mean, the vibe right now is he won't be the Buckeye coach a year from now, no doubt about it. We've had the talk of who's going to potentially replace Chris Holtmann at Ohio State. That's not what this discussion is, but they are at home. They have Indiana in town tonight looking to put an end to that losing streak. Kev, do they put an end to that losing streak here tonight?
We win tonight. We win tonight, and this game is on Peacock, so a lot of you don't have Peacock, so you can listen to it right here on 1410 Wing AM. The Buckeyes will win tonight and get off the schneid and finally get a victory. Finally, and it's going to be a celebration. Buckeyes get a dub tonight. My question for you is, I'm not sure if people really realize, like, some of the guys that transferred out of Ohio State, how well they're playing.
I have not. I'm glad you brought that up.
Michi Johnson. He actually early enrolled at Ohio State, like a year early from Cleveland. But he transferred out for whatever reasons, whatever rumor you want to believe about why he transferred. I'm not here for that. He transferred out. He's balling right now at South Carolina. He's balling. He's mock draft to go like in the second round and everything like that. I think that from like hardcore Buckeye basketball fans, I think that burns them to see guys that transferred out that wasn't getting a lot of playing time actually blossomed at other places. I think that kind of burns hardcore Buckeye basketball fans. But it is what it is. That's the new world that we live in college sports. But we have to get a win tonight.
Yeah, it's a big one again. Ohio State at home. Indiana, the Hoosiers in town. Both teams 13-9. Ohio State, though, 3-8 in Big Ten play. That's crucial. But Ohio State a 5.5-point favorite, nonetheless, looking to put an end to that losing streak. No doubt about it. Purdue men's basketball tweeted this out earlier today. Purdue and Wright State are the only teams in America with two players who have over 1,800 career points. Zach Edey has 2,065 career points at this point, with still a lot of basketball left to be played. Lance Jones has 1,814 points for the Boilermakers. That's wild to me that only two teams in all of college basketball have two 2,000-point score, or two players who are active with over 1,800 career points. The players for Wright State, no surprise, Tanner Holden has 1,873 career points. Man, with his scoring clip right now, I don't know if he's going to pass the 2,000-point mark.
I don't think so. He's averaging like 14 a game. Yeah,
but I mean, his scoring numbers have dipped significantly as of late. He's still playing good basketball. Like his assist and rebound numbers are through the roof. The scoring numbers, it's the ebbs and flows. It's the ups and downs as far as that goes. Trey Calvin for Wright State, he's 6 points away from career point number 2,000.
Wow.
So he has 1,994. But yeah, only two teams in the country with two players that have 1,800 or more points. Tanner Holden, Trey Calvin for Wright State, and then Smith and Edey at Purdue.
Tanner's averaging 16 a game.
I don't have his individual numbers up as far as like the last couple games, but the dynamic of how they've played has changed a bit, and they've been utilizing his passing and rebounding skills more.
Last five, 13, 13, 12, 12, 20.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Lots of wins in there, too, by the way.
Lots of wins in there. And but there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
that's the most important thing.
But there are some teams they have to play Detroit, who's,
Why are you so nervous about that game?
Because it's tough to get up. Like, people make so much about, how little fans go to Wright State games. Okay, that's fine and all, but at the same time, that's what makes when Wright State wins that much more impressive, because it's easy to win in front of 13,000 freaking fans. It's easy to play crap-ass teams from your conference when you got 13,000 fans giving you a home court advantage. That, to me, makes it much more. So you play at home. You're still going to have 4,000 fans there. Is it what the other school has in town? No. But that's what makes it even more impressive when you do get a win on your home floor, because you don't have that safety blanket being 13,000 fans supporting you. You have to create your own energy. It becomes a lot more tougher to create your own energy when you got a team that's 0-24.
I'm not worried about this home game. I'm worried about when they go to Detroit, when Detroit is like 0-28. That's the one I'm worried about.
And by the way, I'm not predicting them to lose, but these games worry me. That's all. The IUPUI game, they played at Cleveland State last week. I was more nervous about the IUPUI game than the Cleveland State game, because they said 700 people were there. There were not 700. I think there were 50 people total there. You could just hear a pen drop, literally. And those are the tough games you got to create your own energy for. But you're right, the road games especially. By the way, Nutter Center, great environment for a mid-major basketball team. That's the standard. That's your typical mid-major basketball experience. Could it be better? Absolutely. But that's the thing. Make fun of the fans all you want, but all you're doing is just basically saying how much more impressive it is to get a win when you don't have 13. There's a reason that the AD is too afraid at UD to go play on the road. They don't play hardly any true road games because they're terrified that they're not going to have the home court advantage. And but I'm just saying, like, because he doesn't trust Anthony Grant and his team to go win true road games. That's really what it comes down to. Just saying. I don't know what the hell it turned into.
I don't know why,
because
they caught strays, man.
They deserve it, but it always drives me nuts that you didn't. But I know what people are thinking and what they always say back. I have an argument. I'm winning an argument before it starts.
Yeah, like they're not even saying that yet.
I got my schools back.
Day.
I got my schools back. That's all.
I do too.
I know.
It'd be nice if they, you know what I'm saying, gave us some jerseys.
Forgave
some student loans.
I don't think they have that power. The jerseys, I'll get the jerseys, but I don't think they have the power to forgive.
Name a building after us.
Oofa. We'll be right back. Kinner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Tax season is here, and I'm sure you're thinking about who is going to do my taxes. Try my friends at Arrowhead Tax Service in New Carlisle. Call Michael and Justin today at 937-543-5770. They're ready to serve you at 113 West Jefferson Street in New Carlisle. Arrowhead Tax Service gives back to the community through athletics and nonprofits, and all new clients save 10% off. Online at arrowheadtaxservice.com, where their target is your satisfaction. Hungry for a great time, maybe some great food? Then come on down to your neighborhood Submarine House. Try our oven-toasted deli subs, our mouth-watering salads, pizzas, appetizers, and more. And wash them down with a unique selection of craft beers while watching the big game on our big screens. With locations around Dayton, in Columbus, and our newest sports bar in Kettering, you're never far from a Submarine House. Subs, sports, spirits, Submarine House.
Need legal help? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Have you heard about our new help center? It's located at the Montgomery County Courthouse, providing legal information and forms. And we also share programs and resources that may be available to you. Let us help you navigate the court system. Visit us online at courthouse2u.com for more info.
Cordell Transportation has more advantages than ever before, including brand new equipment. That's right, plus excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply now at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Score great savings during Menards Super Sale. Menards has the largest in-stock appliance selection, ready to take home today. Pick up energy-efficient appliances from Criterion. Criterion appliances are ready when you are and are designed to last and save you money. Pick up a white upright freezer for just $598. It's garage ready and also converts into a refrigerator. Good through February 11th.
Save big money at Menards.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring today. Robert Half is here to help. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
For $1 US, Kev.
Uh-oh.
Which WWE wrestler's theme song is that?
Sting.
Damn, painful. It's like when Kinner has to guess a movie or something. CM Punk.
Okay.
A lot of drama in the wrestling community, in the WWE world, in the road to WrestleMania.
Oh.
A lot of drama.
Is there a wrestling show I could listen to that I could get up to date on all the wrestling information?
Coming up on Thursday night. Card subject to change. Benjamin Chimera. I think they just shared the show a little bit ago on their Facebook page. Give Card Subject to Change a follow on the. If you're a wrestling fan, I highly urge you to follow that page. I promise you. Benjamin Chimera is great, except for when he comes in here running his damn mouth about his Michigan Wolverines, the cheaters. But it doesn't surprise me that he's a fan of Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game. And it doesn't surprise me that Ric Flair is a big fan of Harbaugh in Michigan and all that stuff. The dirtiest player in the game knows game, like it is what. But a lot of drama in the wrestling world, Kev. There's Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes?
I'm familiar with the Rhodes family.
What's the drama? Oh, Dusty. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Well, Cody Rhodes is supposed to be in this WrestleMania main event going up against Roman Reigns. But Roman Reigns and The Rock are most likely going to be headlining WrestleMania 40 coming up in Philadelphia.
Philly.
But The Rock is like a big time superstar, right? But there were fans on Raw last night chanting "Rocky sucks, Rocky sucks."
Wow.
The wrestling community is just split down the middle, man. Some are Team Cody, some are Team Rocky. A lot of drama out there.
Drama right up your alley.
I don't know how you're sleeping at night, navigating through this. So
right up your alley, man.
But yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan. I wish. Yeah. By the way, there's rumors of SummerSlam being in Cleveland.
Oh,
SummerSlam was in Detroit last year. It was in Nashville the year before that.
When do they announce that?
Should be coming up soon. But
where would they put it? Where would they put it?
At the field, at the football, the Brown
okay.
Stadium. Yeah.
I was about to say, okay, in the summertime in Cleveland, on the lake, get your mosquito spray.
We shall see. But yes, wrestling fans, card subject to change. Benjamin Chimera on Thursday. When are you out, by the way? You're going to the Super Bowl.
Deuces are wild. Fly out on Thursday.
Fly after the show, right?
Try again, my friend. No, we are on that bird. First thing smoking early in the morning. Early in the morning on a Thursday. And we going up.
Don't worry, guys. I got you. Have a good show.
Let me
Trey T. Higgins, baby, coming up on Thursday. You don't want to miss it. You do not want to miss it.
I might give a call into the show. We might tape a segment or something. I might give you the update of what's going on out there, what's going on with me out there in good old Sin City. Got a couple reservations booked for some good eats, things like that. Gonna go to the NFL Experience on Saturday. Planning on going to Fremont Street. Anybody's ever been to Vegas knows about Fremont Street. What else we got on tap? Lots of activities. Might get into some issue 2 while I'm out there.
So, to what? Oh, yeah. No. Interesting. So you're not going to the game, right?
I am not going to the game. We are actually in the process. They actually just emailed me back, booking our table for a watch party at Resorts World out there. So,
well, looks like the Super Bowl prices, the ticket prices are starting to drop.
Good.
Now, so good news. If you couldn't afford the tickets when they were at the cheapest ticket was $8,188.
Yeah.
Kev, don't worry. You're going to be able to afford to go now because tickets have plummeted. $7,000.
Woo!
What will you and Shayla do with that extra $2,000 that you save?
Nothing, because we are not going. We are not going at all. My buddy, who was a Cincinnati Bengals fan when they played out there in LA, he lives in Houston, Texas now. He went out there and he refuses to tell me how much he paid for his ticket. Like, I've been asking him for years now, like, how much did you pay? How much did you pay? I was like, I can't tell you. I'm too embarrassed.
Brutal.
I was like, does your wife know how much you paid? He was like, yes, she knows. And we almost got to.
See, I'm fine with doing that, like when your team's in it.
Yes.
When your team's in it. Now, Chiefs fans, your team seems to be in it all the time. Patriots fans, you guys got spoiled for a bit. But like Bengals fans, the Super Bowl window is always open as long as Joe Burrow's here. Well, I mean, the roster's getting worse each year and all this stuff. So, like, the chances of getting back are pretty slim. So, your friend that's a Bengals fan, I have no problem. A good friend of mine said that his brother and sister did this. I think sister and brother-in-law did the same thing. That they went into some deep finances to be able to attend that game. But like, you want to judge that, but at the same time, like, we're passionate about our sports teams, man. Like, that's for me, Ohio State in a national championship, I would never overspend to go watch them there because the expectation is at least once a decade, assuming I'm around for a few more decades on this wonderful earth. I would assume that, like, if, let's say Ohio State makes the title game next year, I'll get tickets. I want to go, but am I going to drop everything to go? But the Browns in the Super Bowl, that's completely different. Completely different. No clue when they'll be back, if they'll ever be back. Will they be back in my lifetime? Bengals, I feel like they should have gone all out to go to attend the game, even though it was that was at SoFi too, right?
Yeah, SoFi. Yeah, SoFi in LA
with the Raiders. Or no, was it in LA?
Yeah,
that's right, because that's where they did that's the halftime show and all that. That favorite. Yeah. So either way, I don't blame them for that if it's their team. Now, like this Super Bowl, Chiefs Niners. Man, I want to go to the Super Bowl so bad. I wouldn't drop a dime on a Super Bowl that doesn't have two teams that I'm like. I like the Chiefs. I like the Niners. I watch when they're on. They're must-watch TV, right? They're must-watch TV, though.
Yeah. So how much would you be willing to pay for a ticket to the Super Bowl if the Browns were in it?
Before I got a truck or before I got my wife a truck or after?
Before.
I'd say a couple grand.
Okay.
Not fair. $8,000, though. I do know, like, if these were tickets for the Browns, I couldn't do $8,000. I'd do a couple grand.
I would do two. I would do $2,000 if the Steelers
Now, if my
were in
wife
it.
all of a sudden wanted to go, I'd be like, I love you. However, how many Sundays did you tell me, oh, not football again? The Browns are on. I thought we were going to watch a movie tonight. Love my wife. But I'll remind her of all those nights. Like, you do not love them enough to spend that money. You're not going. You're going to stay here with your friends. In fact, I'm going to call some of your best friends, and I'm going to set up a little movie night for you.
Yeah.
You're going to stay behind.
Well, this is a good thing about my wife being
I love
a
my wife.
Browns fan is I'm a Steelers fan. She's a Browns fan. So if the Steelers go to the Super Bowl and I'm willing to go, she doesn't have to go, or she doesn't want to go because she's a Browns fan. So I get off clean there. My biggest thing about traveling to, a national championship game, a bowl game, a Super Bowl, whatever the game is not necessarily the price of the ticket. Us obviously living in Ohio, we're not going to get the national championship game. Closest we'll get to a national championship game, maybe it's in, Indianapolis or up in Detroit because they have a dome and everything like that. My problem is the flights and the hotels. Like, that's the kicker. Like, the game ticket, like, all right, man, I'm getting the experience of the game. That's why I'm here. But it's the extra cost of traveling and lodging that's killing me. I'm not even complaining about the food. It's the lodging and the travel that kills these trips for me because my brother went to the Rose Bowl game when they played Utah, the Jackson Smith and Jigba 300-yard game. CJ was throwing it all over the lot. A lot easier for somebody that lives in Las Vegas to get to LA than it is for somebody from Dayton, Ohio to get to LA for a game. So I was like, he's like, man, tickets ain't that much. They only like 150. They probably gonna go down even more. I'm like, all right, give me a ticket. And then I looked at the prices for the flights. I was like, never mind. Never mind, I'm out. Sell my ticket. I'm not gonna make it.
And that's the other thing too. Just looking at ticket prices alone. Like, I want to go to WrestleMania this year. I want to go see The Rock versus Roman. But, hotels, flight, which I would drive to Philly, and not that far of a drive. I mean, it's far, but it ain't that far. But yeah, I can pay thousands of dollars for WrestleMania tickets. I won't do that. Unless Stone Cold. I'd see Stone Cold. I almost went to watch him in Dallas a few years ago. But nonetheless.
Off the top rope.
Wrestling tickets are I have a hard time stomach buying those because we usually get them through work when they come anywhere in the area. So nonetheless. But so this came in. Jody. Kinner's never going to a Super Bowl. And you're never going back. Your team had a parade for losing the Super Bowl, Jody. Don't get me started. Let's see. David Shaw says, I love Michigan. There was 0% chance I was going to Houston. But now, again, Michigan's not known to getting there often, but it does feel like, Michigan's one of those where I know it's been forever since they were even relevant to be even talked about in the playoff picture to begin with. But like, you still feel like it's not like watching Michigan in a championship game or a playoff game. It's not a once in a lifetime opportunity. As much as I would love to make a joke about that, it's true. Like, right. Like, so I'm Sean. I think you have a different reason why, and that's fine. But like, you know what I mean? Like for me, so for instance, I'll use Wright State basketball, for instance, when they've made the tournament twice in the last 7 years. Just throwing that out there. They've actually played in 3 NCAA tournament games in the last year, but let's say they ever like go on one of them Cinderella runs and they're in the Sweet 16 or you bet your ass. I'm going. I don't know. I don't care. Now I'm hoping, I'm going to use we're the radio station. I need to be aboard. I need to be an on-site engineer. I need to be something. I'll drop as a fan. I would make sure that happens. I knew a lot of fans of Dayton too. Same thing when they went on that run. So many friends. I don't care what the price is. If Dayton beats Florida and gets to the Final Four, they were going to drop it. I mean, Dayton fans, you're all rich and snooty to begin with. So cracked me up here, my rich friends. I don't care what it's going to cost. But you don't care what anything costs. But anyways, this is besides the point. But yes, those are like once in a lifetime opportunities. Right. Ohio State going to a championship game. That's not a once in a lifetime opportunity to me. Another one that came in that someone asked. Let's see. Adam, what up, Adam? Adam Selzner says, what about the World Cup in 2026? I know that's a rare thing. That's a once in a lifetime thing. I just don't value that sport enough. Right. For me, I know there's a ton of value there. That's a globally popular sport. Yeah. So I'm not crapping on it, but it's not interesting enough to me to drop moolah to go see that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm just not a soccer guy. Like, we went up to the Memorial last year and we did a show live from up there. I'm not a golf guy, but it was a cool experience to be up there for sure. To be a place I've never been before, see like famous people walking around, like just like it's a regular day. Like that was a cool experience. One thing I do know about college football, especially with the Final Four, well, not Final Four, CFP, the semifinals, those are more expensive than the actual national championship game. And when the national championship game is in a city like Houston or Atlanta, there's so much going on besides that. Like it's, I won't say an afterthought, but like cities like that are prepared for, you know, a national championship game. Like they got a million other things going on. I mean, I remember last year in Atlanta, the Taylor Swift and a Janet Jackson concert were going on at the same time. Like that's the type of power those type of cities bring. That's how big those cities are. They're able to have a Taylor Swift concert and a Janet Jackson concert in downtown Atlanta and just have it just go off without a hitch. But for me, I would probably rather go to a semifinal game. I think the excitement for a semifinal game, or at least in this current rendition of the college football, would be more exciting.
College football, yes. And I've asked this to Keith before. KB's played in a Super Bowl, and playing in the Super Bowl is just so, I mean, insane, right? But he said that the AFC, the championship game itself, that was a better experience than the Super Bowl. Now you could say that, yes, because you won it, but like, remember when the Bengals, their celebration of getting there, like there was, I mean, I remember being at a Frickers when they won. I was the only one not standing up, clap and cheer, but like, you just felt goosebumps. And that's not even my team. I hate that team. I can't stand your fans. But I had goosebumps just being in a local Frickers watching the Bengals punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. I can't imagine what it was like there, but KB said the same thing. Like there was just, it's the title games are more exciting just because you're punching your ticket there. Some have the mindset you want to win it when you get there. Don't get me wrong, but it's like sometimes just getting to the Super Bowl was like the goal of everyone. Yes, winning one, but like getting to one, the experience of getting to one, saying that you played in one, that is pretty, you know, special too. So
yeah, I was talking to KB at Frickers on Sunday. I was like, how come it was such fisticuffs about to happen between the Chiefs and the Ravens in that AFC Championship game? We see that type of energy in the AFC Championship game. We saw it in the NFC Championship game last year with the 49ers and Philadelphia. But like in the Super Bowl, you don't see that type of stuff going on. Like it's like everybody's, I won't say happy to be there, but like, is it just the moment of being at the Super Bowl? The last thing on your mind is thinking about going to kick a kicker's balls and toss somebody's helmet or get into a pushing match before the game. You rarely ever see that in the Super Bowl. It's like, hey man, we're on our side of the field, warming up, getting ready for the game. And they come out to actually shake hands. But like in NFC Championship games, those guys just got that animosity all built up. He basically was just saying it is that, like, you know, you're in a whirlwind. Like your mind isn't thinking necessarily about like them. It's all about you and your guys. But in an AFC or NFC Championship game, they're the enemy trying to prevent you of going to play for the big one. You've made it to the big one when you made it to the Super Bowl already. So you're not thinking about the other team. You're thinking about what you got to do to win it.
It's the Kinner and Kev Show here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Of course, internet kicked me off again.
Sweet.
So it's okay because we're on radio. That's what matters. All right. Found this interesting, especially with the Super Bowl coming up this weekend. So let me make sure I cite this website correctly. Let me make sure I pull this up and make sure that it's correct nonetheless. But found this interesting. So it was highlighting the most searched athletes, the most popular athletes based on online activity in the state of Ohio. And there's a few that caught my attention that kind of threw me off guard. Okay. And the number one player that comes up is Joe Burrow. No surprise there.
Really?
But a couple of the other names on the list do surprise me a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The forecast mostly clear, low at 27. Tonight, sunshine and 54. Tomorrow, Thursday, partly sunny and 59. I'm Rick Schrepp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech, like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors. Amazing prices await at Dell.com/deals.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life. So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hungry for a great time? Maybe some great food? Then come on down to your neighborhood Submarine House. Try our oven-toasted deli subs, our mouth-watering salads, pizzas, appetizers, and more. And wash them down with a unique selection of craft beers while watching the big game on our big screens. With locations around Dayton, in Columbus, and our newest sports bar in Kettering, you're never far from a Submarine House. Subs, sports, spirits. Submarine House.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's Keith Byers. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideals like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk and run and play and live without the danger and trauma of surgery. And without harmful drugs, call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Cordell Transportation has more advantages than ever before, including brand new equipment. That's right, plus excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply now at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Okay, everyone gather around. I have some exciting. Running her shoe factory, Kendra talks the talk and walks the walk. We're switching to green energy. She needs a biotech consultant to erase her carbon footprint. All operations will net zero emissions. Indeed can help her hire great people fast. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hear that? The relaxing sound of ambient music in a yoga class. And if you were here, you'd listen to 15 people taking a deep breath in sync. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle, protected by Progressive. So if you ride, get a quote today and see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer, and find inner peace with a different pose called Palms on Handlebars. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on Dayton's ESPN Radio 1410 Wing AM. All right, talked about this a little before the pause in the show, Kev, but the most popular NFL players in the state of Ohio, based on a recent study by betting sites, bettingsites.com, analyzed Google search data from the past 12 months to see which players are the most popular in each U.S. state. The 5 most popular players in Ohio were found to be as follows. All right, so with that being said, Joe Burrow, #1 overall. I don't think that's a surprise. Who do you think the #2 most searched athlete was in the state of Ohio?
LeBron James.
Travis Kelce. I shouldn't surprise you just because the tie-in with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, you're right.
#3,
CJ Stroud.
Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Yeah. So I think when I started looking at this too, I was expecting to see athlete names. But what does surprise me, no baseball players, not even in the top 10 on this list. No Ellie De La Cruz. Now, again, this says the last 12 months. You got to remember the Reds were one of the hottest teams in baseball storyline wise. They were a national story all the way back in June, 12 months ago. So, I mean, the fact that.
But that was probably like a 3-month run, right?
Yeah. And again, football's king and all that stuff. And again, the top 5 all NFL players as far as that's concerned. So, I'm sorry. That's a silly comment. There's another study that does the top 5 athletes. This is the top 5 NFL football players. So my bad on that. Okay. Rewind. But yeah, so Joe Burrow, Travis Kelce, Aaron Rodgers, 1, 2, and 3, Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say Nick Chubb.
In 5. Again, Joe Burrow comes in first place in Ohio with 146 on average, 146,000 searches a month.
Dang.
On average. All right. Now, the most popular athlete in the world, the most popular NFL player in the world. This is wild. So this is the number of states where they are the most popular. Joe Burrow is the most popular in 2.
Louisiana.
In Ohio. Yep, that makes sense. Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers is the most popular searched athlete in 13 states. But that's not even close to the most searched athlete in the most states. And that is Travis Kelce with 31. Travis Kelce comes up as the most searched athlete in 31 states.
Goodness gracious.
That is wild to me. That caught my attention, no doubt. Wow. Yeah. Anyways, Some useless knowledge for you. Yeah, Jody Van Winkle, you said NFL only. You're right. My bad. That's why as I started talking, I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, it was the NFL only as far as that's concerned. But the other study that I have to go back and find, because I was going to bring this up the other day, it was in the state of Ohio, the most popular athlete searches and stuff. And like Aaron Rodgers was in there. Some NBA players were in there, but no baseball players. None. As much improved as the baseball season was last year. But I thought in the state of Ohio, I thought for sure Ellie would be at the top, but room to grow as far as that's concerned. But Ellie's the kind that should move up that list. That's if he actually takes a step forward this upcoming season. He's the one I'm most worried about of all the Reds rookies last year because he has the most pressure.
Right.
Steer takes a step back. No one's like, oh, we knew it. McClain takes a step back. Oh, we knew it. And Carnos, like those guys were just good for Reds rookie standards. Ellie was being put as he's the, Tatis Jr. He's the, he's up there with Shohei Ohtani. And I'm like, he had one hot month. Relax, folks. Like, let's let him breathe a little bit. That's why I'm worried about him. But if he does come out and kill it this upcoming season, that to me means he's the real deal because the pressure's not a thing for him. I'm not saying he doesn't face pressure, but like clearly when you have all the expectations in the world and it's only your second year in the league and he's one of the youngest athletes in sports. I mean, he's like 21 years old, Kev, or 22. Like he's like super young. Like that's wild to me. He's the one I'm most worried about though, of all the young Red Stars heading into the season.
Where can I listen to Reds spring training game?
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. A lot of afternoon games, dude. A lot of afternoon games.
Live from Goodyear.
David Shaw said, gee, let me pull this up because Shaw said, gee, I wonder why Travis Kelce is the most searched NFL player. No clue. To be fair, they said they compared the results to last year. He was not the most searched athlete last year, but he was in the top 5 last year. So I think the Taylor Swift thing just elevated him a little bit.
Yeah,
obviously.
Definitely.
And who the heck's mad at that? No reason to be upset at that. But nonetheless, Shaw said for over under 225 average in April. That's a good one. I'm gonna put that in the back pocket for now when we focus on baseball a little more. But that's, to be honest, that's
he said in April.
In April,
where are they playing?
What?
I mean, I know where they're playing, but I'm saying like how many home games, how many road games. Like that would be. I would have to look before I would even dare answer that question because if they're playing a lot of home games, I would definitely go with the under.
I mean, look, they're at let's see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 6 series at home. I mean, it's usually pretty evenly distributed. This isn't like college basketball in the NBA where you go weeks without a home game. I mean, I think the longest you go is about a 10-day stretch without a home game. But I mean, every week except for I'm only seeing 3 weeks total, Sunday to Sunday, where there's no red in here. So that means there's only 3 total Sunday through Sunday weeks where they don't have a home game. As far as that's concerned. So it's a little balanced. But Washington, the Mets, the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Phillies, so there you go. Like those are their home series. But they play the Phillies a lot. They play the White Sox. They play Seattle a lot. It's wild. Some of these teams, they play home and away back-to-back weeks right off the bat as far as that goes. But, yeah, over under 225 average in April for Ellie De La Cruz. I'm not ready to go there yet. I want to say the over, but I'm just worried that the dude's going to be pressing to start the season, that he's going to be a little too aggressive because he wants to live up to the hype. But this is where David Bell comes into play. This is where the coaching staff comes into play a little bit because, baseball's turned into, almost too robotic. When this happens, press this button. When this happens, hit that button. Like it's almost like a manual is running baseball because everything is so analytics based. Like there's no gut feel anymore in the game. But I do think it's managing this young roster. And to David Bell's credit, he did a hell of a job with that last year. But I think the job's even more important this year because now there wasn't expectations for them last year. Well, there was. They were expected to lose 100 games, and they didn't. This year, they're expected to win. They're not expected to win 100 games, but when you're expected to win and when you're expected to be one of the contributing players and you're expected to be, the future middle infielder for the Reds for quite some time, and I say future middle infielder because God knows what, baseball's so weird now. But yeah, little interesting to see as we get closer, kind of the talk on that. Nolan says over. Shaw said Nolan Russell, check that September average. That's September. Shaw, I would like to think that a full off season. I'm not going to hold September against him. 21-year-old player, but I see what he's trying to say. Jody says, look like the lineup will take some pressure off guys potentially. That's why it was important to go get some veteran guys to kind of maybe take the pressure off of some of these young dudes. We'll see, but nonetheless, a little baseball talk. We talked some NBA today. We talked some baseball. We talked about my truck again that I haven't had a chance to drive since we got it. Maybe tomorrow. The wife did say maybe tomorrow's the day.
I thought you were going to say maybe tomorrow we talk about the Super Bowl.
Maybe tomorrow. We did talk Super Bowl. We blended it. Today's a bit we talk college basketball. Today's one of the more balanced shows we've had in quite some time.
A little balance.
Yep. Nonetheless. All right. It's the Kinner Kev Show here on Dayton's ESPN Radio 1410 Wing AM. Yesterday, we had a chance to catch up with Bill Bender with the sporting news. Still no update on this Bill O'Brien situation.
Maybe he's staying.
Maybe there's a good chance it could still potentially happen too. I mean, unless it's in the sub reports say it's a personal matter as to why moving back to Boston is important. But outside of that, you still can't convince me that being the head coach at Boston College is a better job than the OC position at Ohio State. I mean, heck, Hafley said the defensive coordinator position with the Green Bay Packers is a better job than the head coach at Boston College. But we talked about that with Bill Bender yesterday from the Sporting News. We talked about the perception of Ohio State. We think they're championship or bust, but is that the national perception of the Ohio State Buckeyes heading into next year? And just how good can that team up north be with Sharon Moore as the head coach? He was on the Rich Eisen show earlier today. Maybe if we have time, we'll jump into his comments there. But he was asked about their approach to the ongoing investigation into their program that will bleed over into his era now, as Harbaugh, the coward that he is, bailed on them and said, hey, you deal with my mess now. His response was quite interesting. They're still saying they're innocent. So we have a lot still to touch on when it comes to that. We'll be right back. It's the Kinner Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life. So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt!
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles